Hey everyone, welcome back to Cindy's Culinary Corner. Thank you for joining me. We are in the month of December, and December calls for comfort food. Last week I was in my place, I was hungry, didn't want to do takeout, so I decided to go through my pantry, look in my fridge, and see what I could put together. Now, I came up with this hearty quinoa chicken soup that I'm so excited to share with you guys today. Let's get into it. Alrighty guys, so the ingredients that we're going to be using in today's soup is chicken stock, some bouillon paste. I have some diced shallots and some green onions. We have our quinoa, our chopped potatoes. We have frozen peas and carrots here. You can use whatever veggies you want. I have some rotisserie chicken breast because this is the part of the rotisserie chicken when you buy it fresh. This is the part that goes dry, so use it in your soups, y'all. Then we have our kale, our parsley. And for our spices and herbs, I have some dill weed, salt and pepper to taste, paprika. We have garlic powder, and our acid is our lemon. Let's head over to the stove. Okay guys, we are going to get our pot on the stove, and I've already poured some olive oil in the pan. What we're going to do is start sauteing our veggies. So here we have our shallots and our green onions, and we're going to soften that up. And we're going to add our celery because our celery is pretty dense. But the good thing about the soup is that while we're cooking all this stuff, we don't have to try to cook everything down because we're going to put the stock in, let it simmer and stew. And that's how we're going to ensure that everything is well incorporated and is completely cooked. So right now it's just basically the softening process. Now soup is my go-to because soup is quick and easy, and you can have it at any time of day. You can have soup for dinner. You can have soup for lunch at work. And you can be so creative with soup. So while I'm using these ingredients and you're making yours, the fun part about cooking is being creative and having fun. So this is how I do my soup. You can try it exactly this way, see how you like it, or you can add your own ingredients and you do yours. Now I'm adding the frozen vegetables now, just to soften it up like I said before. And I'm actually going to add the potatoes in a little bit, just to get everything soft. Growing up, being that I did want to share a little bit about my culture, growing up, my grandma would make a whole heap of soups. One of our most popular soups is called bouillon, which is a stew that has dumpling in there. It has maybe oxtail or beef chuck or maybe cow's feet. We put a bunch of starches like potatoes and yams and plantain. And that is something that we would have every Saturday. Every Saturday, my dad would get bouillon from a local Haitian restaurant, or my mom would make the bouillon, and that would be the highlight of our Saturday. But bouillon is a meal, just like a lot of Haitian foods. It's a labor of love. Bouillon is not something that's going to take 30 minutes to cook. So as I got older, I tried to find my own creative ways to flip certain dishes that are popular in the Haitian culture. And what I do is I don't make the meal completely. I use the spices that we use in our everyday meals, and I use them to make my dishes. So when you're cooking and you're inspired by your culture, or you're inspired by, I don't know, a certain group of people that you like. Let's say you like Italian food, but you can't make pasta al dente. I say you can either buy fresh pasta, which doesn't take too long to cook, takes 3 minutes, or you can make it your own. That's the thing with cooking. Make it your own. That's the message of today. Now that our veggies are soft, we're gonna go ahead and add our potatoes. And I have a few more potatoes on the side here that I chopped up. Gonna mix it all up. Now, but the potatoes are gonna take the longest to cook. So with that being the case, I'm gonna go ahead and add the stock in now. We're pouring the whole 32 ounce because soup is supposed to have, in my opinion, this soup at least, is supposed to have more liquid than solid. So the ratio that I'm going for is about 1 to 4. So a quarter the amount of our solid ingredients to our broth. Now this is almost about where I want it to be, so I'm going to add 2 cups more of broth, and if needed, we can add some water. Now this here is bone broth. Bone broth is so flavorful. So shout out to my friend Ruby, who got me into using bone broth. Honestly, I've never noticed bone broth before, so if that's not new information for you guys, then it's new information for me. And if it is new information for you, you're welcome. So, majority of the ingredients are at the bottom. So I'm going to let this come to a boil. And while we're doing that, we have to taste. You have to taste to see where you're at. Stock normally has a lot of salt in it. And with that being the case, in order to control how much salt I add, I have to see where it's at right now. Very tasty, but it does need some more salt. So, in addition to adding my salt, I'm gonna add some pepper. So we have our salt and pepper there. We have our paprika. We have our wonderful garlic powder. It is honestly probably my favorite ingredient, my favorite dry ingredient. We have our dill. Look at the beautiful medley of colors. And we're gonna mix that all up. And I'm gonna put this on medium high just to bring it to a boil. And then, because the potatoes are going to take about 20 minutes to cook, quinoa takes about that same time too. And remember that I want this to be more liquid than solid, so I'm only using about a cup of quinoa compared to, I believe that's a total of 6 cups of our stock. I'm going to go ahead and pour that in now, because we're just going to let it all cook together. Pour that in. Now the thing with quinoa, it is going to absorb some of the water, so that's also another reason why I didn't put too much in there. This smells so good. It smells so good. Now, you guys see that I have kale here. I'm going to put it towards the end because I know it's going to wilt either way. I just want to add it in the end so that it's more on the top and not mixed in at the bottom. I like to see color. I'm going to go ahead and put some tomato paste to give us some more of a hearty flavor. Just mix that in. That's about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and that's me eyeballing. And you can see with the tomato paste and the paprika, we have a nice orange color to our soup. I'll leave that there. We're gonna taste again. Reason why we're about to taste is because I'm going to add our chicken bouillon paste. It's good. It's not all the way there. So I tasted this and it's not giving me all the flavor that I want. So I'm going to add about a tablespoon of our chicken bouillon paste. Now, chicken bouillon paste is similar to like Maggi cubes. It's similar to stock. But right now it's more of a concentrated flavor. So with the paste, or if you're using Maggi cubes, you don't really need to add salt because it has all the salt in there. So you got to be careful. Get back to our tasting spoon. See where we're at. I definitely know I need some spice. Yeah. It needs more bouillon. All right. Now what I'm going to do is put some of my secret ingredient, and then we're just going to let this go ahead and simmer for 20 minutes. And then we're going to add the kale, add our parsley, and then we get to enjoy the soup. So the secret ingredient, y'all, is my favorite spice. I'm not going to say it. I'm just going to add it because I mentioned it before. So if somebody remembers the spice that is my favorite, I want you to go ahead and put it in the comment section below. The first person to mention it, you get a shout out. Shout outs are nice. So we're gonna go ahead and just let it flow, because this spice that I like to use honestly doesn't have a lot of salt in there. I'm using it more so for the smoky flavor because we're making a hearty soup. Smoky spices like paprika, chipotle will really help to give us what we're looking for. Almost got me there. We're gonna mix that in. Gonna let it simmer. And the very last thing that I'm gonna add, you guys, I'm going to put the chicken in there. I'm gonna leave it whole, and then I'm gonna break it apart once the soup is close to finish. The reason why I'm doing that is because I want the chicken to remain moist as opposed to me breaking it up and then it dries out. So we're gonna let that stay on a medium heat. Let it boil. And then I'll show you what it looks like at the end. All right, guys, so our chicken is done. So we're gonna take it out, put it to the side, and we're also going to add our kale so that it can soften up. I've actually turned off the heat because it was still boiling vigorously. So I'm gonna add the kale in there. Before I put all that kale in, I want to show you guys how I knew that everything was ready, especially with quinoa. Quinoa has these little white rings that appear once they're cooked. So that's how I knew it was time to do the final step, which is our quinoa. Our kale. I'm gonna add that in, and we're gonna shred up the chicken. I'm gonna put that back in, and then we're going to plate everything. Look how nice that is. Look how nice that is. Oh, I see a nice piece of chicken. As a kid, this would be an exciting thing to get in your bowl. A nice big piece of chicken. You know what? I'm gonna eat it. kale is softened up immediately, because that's the thing with greens like kale and collards and spinach. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop up our chicken real quick, and then we're gonna put it back in there. Ooh, this is so soft and moist. It's so soft. I'm gonna show you guys when I cut this piece right here. It's so soft, so tender. Let me show you. I don't know if you can see the juice in here. It's real tender. And take the skin off. We don't need it. We just kept our chicken breast moist. Just gonna peel that up a bit. Shred it. It's real hot, so that's why I'm not using my fingers. If you want, you can use 2 forks. And this one here, we're just gonna separate it as well. I don't even really need the knife. If I had gloves, trust me, I would use my hands. Because that's how moist our chicken is. I'm so excited. Alrighty. Yeah, definitely where we want it to be. I'm gonna chop it up some more so we can have a hefty amount of chicken dispersed in our soup. Yeah, that's good. All right. Almost lost a piece there. Okay, and we're just gonna put it back in. So I'm gonna put the stove back on because you know we like to serve things hot. Okay, hot. Down she goes. My knife clearly did not want to stay on the cutting board. That is fine. So we're just gonna continue adding our chicken. Look at this. Looky then. And you know, the first tester after me, or the first taster after me, is our camera guy. So, does this look tasty? Thumbs up or thumbs down? I'm getting a thumbs up. I'm getting a thumbs up. One of these days, we're going to have our camera guy hop in and give his real review of all the meals that he has tasted. And I want an honest review. There we go. Everything is mixed in there. Look at this. Hearty, simple fall soup. Wait, it's not fall anymore. It's winter time. You see what happens when you're a Miami girl? We don't have seasons. It's winter time. Wow. Alrighty, so the very last thing that we're gonna add is our acid. I'm gonna squeeze in a little bit of this lime. Honestly, this is probably a little more than a quarter of a lime. And voila, as we would say, voila, that's it. Fini. Bon appetit. I'm gonna go ahead and plate this, you guys, and show you what that looks like. So let's get our soup into the bowl. You might be thinking, for those of you that were paying attention, where is the parsley, huh? Where is the parsley? Okay, the parsley is for plating. And I'm just gonna put a bunch of it in there. That's it. Look at that. This, honestly, all my Haitians out there, this reminds me of a little bit of bouillon. The color, the potatoes, the other veggies, the carrots, the onions, the kale instead of watercress. Very good. Now we have it. Thank you for joining me. As always, I hope you guys do decide to try this soup. If you Do give it a chance. Leave a comment in the section below. Like the video. Click the like button. Turn on your notifications, and I'll see you next time.